Hey, you living under a rock, or perhaps living out here in the rainforest, perhaps you didn't know that Bitcoin is in the middle of a face melting bull run, and it looks like this is the start of a pretty big wave that is going to last for at least another year. This is probably not going to be news to you if you've been perusing the old crypto YouTube and Twitter and you've just been paying attention in general. The price is going up a lot for a number of reasons. It's going to go up and continue to go further up from what we can tell. And I want to talk about a few of the factors that are leading into that. Besides some of the more obvious fundamental factors, like the fact that it's been over a year since the halving. I want to talk about a little bit about some of the political events that are contributing to this, and that is with the election of Trump. It seems that it's going to have a very unique impact in the world of crypto because we've never really seen something like this before. What's very unique about this is that the only time we'll just say a national state has gotten involved in crypto politics and whatnot was El Salvador. And it was such a big deal in 2021, and I'll never forget just how much of a big deal it was to have a country essentially adopt Bitcoin as its national currency, and to have the leader of the country to be openly bullish about it and to be going to crypto events and be writing about it on Twitter. Nothing like that had happened in the past. Sorry, playing with the lights. And it caused such an upswell in Bitcoin at the time. And I often thought at the time that, to go from El Salvador to America or to Europe, to the rest of the developed world, it would have to slowly work its way up. Maybe you go from El Salvador to Guatemala, go somewhere else in the global south, and then it would, knock over like dominoes one by one. But that wasn't the case at all. Within one cycle, it's reached the highest power in the land. And not simply as a simple talking point, So let's just have a little recap about where this started. So the hype began just a little before Trump's assassination attempt, with him set to speak at a crypto conference in Nashville. And this was very bullish, and it was actually after him attending after the assassination attempt, and he just talked about a few things about wanting to get rid of Gary Gensler, who was pretty hawkish on Bitcoin overall. Just talking about wanting to have Bitcoin related things happen in America. And to be honest, a lot of it was generally platitude-y. It wasn't anything specific. It was just the fact that he showed his face. And it was just a presidential candidate at the time, but it was a really big deal. It's the highest power in the, at this stage advocating for Bitcoin. Again, even if it was mostly platitudes, right? But let's just have a look at the timeline here, right? So back in 2019, he was not a fan of Bitcoin. I'm not a fan of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, which are not money and whose value is highly volatile based on thin air. Unregulated crypto assets can facilitate unlawful behavior, including drug trade and other illegal activity. We have only one real currency in the USA, and it's stronger than ever, both dependable and reliable. And in fact, this is what you would assume the president of the United States would say. You'd assume they'd want to back up their own currency, considering it's the petrodollar that basically ensures the hegemony of the United States, right? So it makes sense. In fact, you'd think that the last person to come around to the idea of Bitcoinization would be a U.S. president, considering that the U.S. dollar is just just too important. And then you look at the things that now President Trump has said. This is Friday's election said. If I am elected, it will be the policy of my administration, United States of America, to keep 100% of all the Bitcoin the U.S. government currently holds or acquires into the future. And this is a big deal because I don't know if you know this, but the largest Bitcoin holders in the world, for the most part, are actually governments, because what happens is they take down gangs and drug cartels or whatever in their own country, and the wealth they confiscate tends to be in crypto because that is the principal means of holding wealth if you're a criminal, right? So the government usually holds tons of this crypto. They don't really do much of it, but it's always been speculated that, they're not just going to sit on hundreds of millions of dollars forever. They're going to sell it and keep the government running for about 2 seconds, with the extra money they receive. But it was always assumed they were going to dump it out of the market. Just the fact that we've got a promise that it's not going to be dumped in the market, well, there you go. That's something. Next, if crypto is going to define the future, I want it to be mined, minted, and made in the USA. Kind of speaks a little bit to Trump's hard-on for China. It's not really the case now. Less the case. It's still the case, but not entirely. But back in the day, the majority of Bitcoin was mined in China. And by the way, a lot of it still is. There's way more that's mined in China than is understood, because a lot of these people just went underground, right? And then when they left China, they went to other places in the world with cheap electricity. And Trump's like, well, why don't we just get the business, right? So if it's going to be mined anywhere, why not just have it in the USA, make more money, right? And then what does this guy say? It's plausible that Trump's administration might explore leveraging blockchain technology to enhance transparency and efficiency in government operations, especially with Elon Musk as an advisor. There could be also initiatives aimed at promoting the adoption of cryptocurrencies to stimulate economic growth and attract tech-driven investments. I don't know about that for sure, and I don't know if Trump knows that for sure, because I'm certain that Trump doesn't know that much about cryptocurrency. It's interesting because Trump is not just the leader of the free world, but the leader of a socio-political movement that has completely changed the world, going into the future. But he doesn't know everything, right? And he's going to be, there's going to be all of his words are going to go through a fine-tooth comb, and he's going to supposed to have an opinion about everything from war in the Middle East to economics to business to taxation to the difference in regulations in different states, the Supreme Court. There's just so many things, and as one person, you can't know everything, right? So I don't suspect that Trump knows everything about crypto, but a lot of the things that are going to happen because of Trump is going to happen through his administration. So you'd be shocked to know just how many very, very pro-crypto people are in his administration. So you've got the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, Doge head, I can't say that with a straight face, Doge head Musk, along with Vivek Ramaswamy, US SEC Chairman Dan Gallagher, Secretary of the Treasury, CIA Director John Radcliffe, Ambassador to Israel, don't think that really matters, Secretary of State kind of matters, I don't know, National Security Advisor. I mean, a lot of people, and a lot of the people that haven't been announced yet, right? Even just people from like RFK to Tulsi Gabbard and just a bunch of people that I haven't really heard of, and he's filled his administration, or he's at least trying to, with just general dissidents, right? And there's just a huge overlap between people that are politically and culturally dissident and the crypto community, right? Which are, I guess you could say, economic dissidents, right? There's a huge overlap between them. So there's all these people that in the administration that we didn't even know that are probably pro-crypto. That's going to have an impact, but in ways that I don't think are going to be completely obvious, right? I think the big movement for the price when Trump became elected was just simply the fact that he endorsed it, but he didn't really give it anything truly specific. Like, is he actually going to fire Gary Gensler? I don't know. Is he actually going to does he have any specific plan to turn America into the mecca of crypto? I doubt it, right? But I think things are going to manifest in interesting ways going into the future. But if you want to get into the nitty gritty, we don't really have to talk about Trump. Like, this is really some of the biggest things that matters. The Fed has turned, they're starting to lower the interest rates, right? And this is a really big deal. And, I'm really saddened that I didn't learn more about this prior to 2021, because if I did, I think things would have been very different for me. The reality is, up until 2021, interest rates were basically zero, or basically, I mean, it hasn't really changed that much. Okay, it was basically zero since 2016. It went up, and then it went immediately back down, and yeah, like it's basically been very, very, very low, since 2008, which is again the same time that Bitcoin was around. And Bitcoin was just continually reaping a huge windfall as a result of this, right? Because it's a risk on asset. Everyone's piling money into the stock market, and Bitcoin really is able to take advantage of all that money just flowing around in the money markets. And then this changed dramatically when interest rates went up and everything just kind of went on hold. And that has really been slowing things down, I think, until like a couple of, until recently, right? And they've started lowering it. And yes, so this is probably going to have the biggest impact going into the future. And are they going to lower it month after month? I would say it's likely to do so, because whenever they decide to pivot, it tends to be a long-term trend that lasts for years, right? It's not like, 1 month they increase it and the next month they lower it, right? They tend to go in these big trends. So now we can see now it's only been, maybe 2 months since they've started to lower it. That's probably going to go on for a year, 2 years, 3 years. I don't know how long, but that's going to have a huge impact on crypto. And the next thing, Bitcoin ETF inflows and outflows. The all-time high that we saw earlier in the year, back towards February, March, that was 100% because of the Bitcoin inflows and outflows. And what you can see is that there was just so much money flowing in from these institutions, and that's what led to the price going to what it was. I mean, it was really shocking to see it happen, because we weren't really expecting anything big to happen with Bitcoin back then. But if you look at all these red lines here, these are the outflows. But those flows were coming from one particular institution, and that was MicroStrategy. No, sorry, not MicroStrategy. Grayscale, right? And I can't remember the exact reason, so I won't butcher it. But they've been dumping huge amounts of Bitcoin on the market, frequently evening out the inflows that have been coming in. And despite all these outflows, we still reached all-time highs, and frequently we were above. Most of the time, we're above 60K, right? Now, look what's happened here as we go past October. Those inflows are going back to what they were before, but without the outflows this time. Grayscale has essentially stopped selling, and the thing is, they couldn't keep selling forever. They were the largest holder of Bitcoin, or one of the largest. And the thing is, they were just selling so much they couldn't sell forever. So those outflows had to dry up eventually. And either they've decided to just hold on to what they've got, or they just can't keep selling anymore. And that was going to happen eventually. And as you can see, we're trending up. We're getting all those inflows and basically no outflows, right? And I want to talk just a little bit about Ethereum, which is a slightly different story. Where in the beginning, when the Ethereum ETF started, there wasn't a whole lot of inflow action. Again, for reasons I don't fully understand. Let me get out of the picture here. For reasons I don't fully understand, why there wasn't as much inflow, but a lot of that outflow was from Grayscale selling again. It may have had something to do with some of the various liquidity crises that happened in the crypto market back in 2022 with BlockFi and Nexus and all these FTX going under. I think they were just very exposed to that. I think they have some deal to where they had to sell things at some stage. I don't know exactly what it is, but as you can see, those outflows are they're becoming smaller and smaller, and now those inflows are starting to kick up, right? And Ethereum has been generally disappointing, but the reason why I wanted to talk about Ethereum slightly is because it matters for the Bitcoin dominance. And for those that aren't familiar, Bitcoin dominance is the percentage of Bitcoin compared to the rest of the crypto market. And the higher the Bitcoin dominance, the more value in the total cryptocurrency market cap, the more of that belongs to crypto. The more of that belongs to Bitcoin. But when the Bitcoin market dominance goes down, it means Bitcoin's price action dramatically slows, maybe even goes down, and all that money starts flowing into altcoins. and that's when bull markets happen. That's when the bull markets that are memorable happens, right? So 2017, which were really the start of alts as we know it, 2021, and it's going to be this year again. When when Bitcoin dominant plunges, that's when we see the really big action take place. And I'm not really much for TA, but it is worth just drawing a few lines here and there, especially if it's something you can trace back all the way to, for the past 2 years. We see this trend line of Bitcoin dominance rising, and at some stage it's not going to last. This trend line is going to break, and it's going to fall. I don't know how low it's going to go to. The last time Bitcoin dominance collapsed, it went down to as low as 40%, 39%. The time that it happened before that, back in January 2018, which was, the last little hurrah, it went down to 36%. And it's bound to happen again at some stage, right? And usually it happens because of the main drivers, like these large layer 1 protocols. Solana is going to be big in that, but Ethereum is still the largest layer 1 protocol. It's still the largest. Like in the words of my Bitcoin maxi friend, it's the anus hole of the shitcoins. So anything that's ERC20 related is going to explode along with Ethereum. Ethereum's been very sluggish, but it's not going to last forever. Ethereum's going to go up eventually. And when that happens, all the altcoins are going to be dragged along with it. This trend line is going to break. Bitcoin dominance is going to fall, and we're going to be in a full-fledged bull run, the likes of which we have seen before. In fact, it's probably not going to be as much as last time. Sorry to G you up, but there's going to be a lot of opportunities. A lot of money is going to be made still. And I hope you were able to take advantage of it. So thanks a lot for watching my video, guys. If you are interested in buying crypto without KYC, you can use my referral link in the description down below for peer-to-peer cryptocurrency exchange, local coin swap, and HODL. These are 2 exchanges that are non-custodial. You don't have to provide any KYC, you don't have to provide any personal information, and you can use any different payment method you want via any currency to trade directly with another user to buy and sell cryptocurrency, which is a much safer and more anonymous way of trading Bitcoin. So if you're interested in that, you can use my referral link in the description down below, and I'll see you next time. Peace.